James Cameron, the director known for his bigger-than-life creations and distinctive filmmaking, with his work spanning multiple genres, Cameron has made a name for himself in Hollywood as an artist who will stop at nothing to make his dream a reality. There's no denying that the man has made a place for himself, whether that's directing a classic or delving into the sci-fi realm. But not all films are created equal, so in today's video, we'll be ranking all his works from first to very best. First up, number 10, Piranha II, The Spawning, 1982. Not a lot of argument for this one, even though this work had a major impact on the director's career. Piranha II, The Spawning is infamous for its excessive gore, but doesn't really have much going for it. There's a bit of backstory behind this one, as the original director of the movie, Miller Drake, the executive producer, Ovidio G. Asanitis, had asked Cameron to oversee the visual effects, but things changed as there was trouble between the two, and Cameron was given control of the movie, and this was his feature film debut. But once shooting started, Asanitis' aggressive behavior and budget constraints complicated Cameron's ideas for the follow-up. But here's the thing, Piranha II is still kind of revolutionary in its own way. The film's unrestrained use of blood, intestines, and nudity places it in line with horror movies of the late 1970s and 80s. While it's difficult to determine which parts Cameron directed and which Asanitis took over, it's impossible to overlook the expertly shot underwater passages, which would later become known as the director's specialty. Up next, number 9, True Lies. Even though Cameron has a natural talent for the fantastical, he just isn't able to connect the realistic characters to True Lies' occasional ridiculous plot points. Given that fans were already accustomed with Schwarzenegger and Cameron's successful collaborations, many of them were let down by this one, but some credit has to be given, as there was a few great action and comedy sequences scattered throughout it. In True Lies, Arnold Schwarzenegger plays a mild-mannered computer salesman who leads a double life as a world-traveling secret agent tasked with preventing terrorists from launching a nuclear bomb on the United States. The director constantly finds fresh and inventive ways to up the ante with his leading man, whether that's by having Schwarzenegger chase a bad guy through a fancy hotel on horseback or fighter jets. And now, number 8, Aliens of the Deep, 2005. Aliens of the Deep is one of Cameron's 2 documentaries that were shown in theaters. It looks more closely at the complex ecosystem that exists in the ocean's depths. He takes fans on an exciting dive that visits areas that very few have explored, with amazing photography that highlights odd and wonderful places. The underwater worlds and Cameron himself, who makes appearances on camera, are both interesting. When it comes to the marine life found on planets other than Earth, the Aliens of the Deep falls short. The movie probes whether an underwater city exists on the moon Europa using some very outdated and amateur early 2000s CGI. Up next, number 7, Ghosts of the Abyss. Titanic ran so Ghosts of the Abyss could walk, and Cameron definitely makes good use of the excitement surrounding the classic tale. Ghosts of the Abyss takes viewers on another underwater adventure, and this time concentrating on close-up views of the tragic ship. With the help of some amazing IMAX 3D cameras and commentary from Cameron's friend Bill Paxton, a team of scientists take viewers on a tour of the massive man-made structure, including never-before-seen glimpses inside the Ship of Dreams. While Paxton provided some fascinating insights and the technology was outstanding for the time, whether you find Ghosts of the Abyss compelling really just depends on how much you want to know about the Titanic. If you are, this movie will be a breeze. If not, it's not going to make you love the story any more than you already do. Don't go anywhere as we reveal our pick for his best movies coming up. And now, number 6, The Abyss, 1989. The Abyss tells the tale of ragtag U.S. search and recovery team sent on a mission to locate an American submarine that sank into the Caribbean seas. One interesting thing about the film is how it cements what would later come to be known as Cameron's unique color palette and artistic style. The group, which includes an estranged couple, played by Ed Harris and Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio, learns along the way that they're not alone in the ocean's depths. As you might have guessed it, they come face to face with extraterrestrial forces with powers beyond their wildest dreams. The difficult production of The Abyss made it a huge commercial failure, but if you're a true lover of cinema, many think of this as Cameron's hidden gem. The movie aged like fine wine for many and is more appreciated now than when it was released. It's simple to understand why when you take into account the cutting-edge technology that went into the remarkable effects and the film's memorable ending and all of its other charms. Cameron's able to express his love of the deep sea in yet another film, which also won the Academy Award for Best Visual Effects. Next up, number 5, Avatar, 2009. Okay, we know you were waiting for this one. We're going to be real here. Avatar is far from perfect. After waiting nearly 15 years for technology to catch up to his artistic vision, Cameron started production on the movie in 1994. The out-of-this-world expensive film was propelled forward by promise of dazzling 3D visuals in a vast world, and it continues to be one of the most successful movies of all time. Regardless of how popular the movie was, it's a strong contender for the most overrated and overhyped movie ever. Well, love it or hate it, you're getting 4 more sequels anyway. And now, number 4, Titanic. James Cameron's Titanic is without a doubt one of his best pictures, simply because it beat the odds and became one of the highest grossing and most adored films of all time. It definitely wasn't an easy film to make due to issues with budget overruns and Cameron's harsh on-set behavior, but everything came together in the end to create a romantic dream that's grounded in reality. Thanks to the musical prowess of James Horner, Will Jennings, and vocalist Celine Dion, the romantic classic also has one of the most famous pieces of music ever produced. In other words, there's little doubt as to why Titanic became the film that it is today. Next up, number 3, Terminator, 1984. Let's welcome the beginning of one of the greatest cinematic franchises of all time. When an android from the future tries to kill Sarah Connor, a college student working as a waitress, she must outwit the T-800 before it kills her and alters history with the help of Kyle Reese, a mysterious character from the future. The pace and structure of the Terminator isn't as tight as that of its sequel, but it's still one of the most recognizable works of pop culture ever produced. It's easy to understand how important the movie has become in history of cinema thanks to the catchy one-liners and Arnold Schwarzenegger making his iconic role his own. But maybe its most important accomplishment was demonstrating James Cameron's promise as a filmmaker, and without a doubt, the Terminator is what made the Canadian director what he is today. Next up, number 2, Aliens. The follow-up to Ridley Scott's outstanding horror masterpiece Alien upped the ante, creating a work of art that expertly blended tension with action movie-like sequences, as best of both worlds, you could say. And honestly, this was the least Aliens movie that could be called a good movie. And how amazing was Sigourney Weaver's return to the role of Ellen Ripley? The movie centers on series star Ripley, of course, who's forced to travel back to the moon where she first faced the xenomorphs. And there's a lot at stake. She has to defend the colony of humans who have now settled there. The best thing about Aliens is how Cameron makes his movie uniquely his own, even if it has some of the iconic characters. And now, finally, number 1, Terminator 2, Judgment Day, 1991. Cameron's films aren't all perfect, but Terminator 2, Judgment Day is pretty damn close. It not only improves on the story of the first one, but also raises the stakes in terms of action, suspense, and the mechanics. Even better, it breathes more life into the beloved characters, giving them a solid standing in Hollywood for years to come. There's a lot to admire about this sequel, including Linda Hamilton's career-defining performance as a more intense Sarah Connor, Robert Patrick as the horrifying T-1000, and the groundbreaking visual effects. The most amazing thing about Terminator 2 is how Cameron masterfully balances fear and emotion, and how the actors reflect that balance. He develops their relationship throughout the movie, and with a fantastic setup and storyline, both Schwarzenegger and Edward Furlong both turn in their greatest performances yet. And that's a wrap for this video. Which James Cameron movie do you rate highly? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.